Here on our homestead, we have 300 square meters of a food forest that is going to provide us with a year-round supply of fruits, herbs, and even vegetables. And I'm going to take you on a tour of everything that we are growing and show you exactly how we build this so that you can do this too. As you can see, this is not an ordinary garden that you plant, tend, harvest and have to start over again season after season. This is a system that is made mostly of perennial plants that you plant once and it grows stronger and more productive every single year on its own. It's kind of hard to believe that when you look at this to think that it actually only started like a year ago. But when we arrived there were about 10 fruit trees in a field of grass and weeds. And this is what it looked like today. And honestly, I think this is probably one of the most beautiful things that we've built so far. So this right here is where I want to start with the tour, because everything you are going to see today kind of comes back to this one spot. This right here in the middle is a pear tree, and just look at what is growing around it. We have got a nitrogen fixing acacia on this side. We've got sweet potatoes and nasturtium spreading across the ground, some fennel coming up along the edge, a mulberry and a banana right next to it, and a pineapple sage sitting right at the front where it gets a good amount of sun. And each of these plants has a specific job. The acacia pulls nitrogen from the air and feeds the soil around it. The sweet potato and nasturtiums cover the ground and we get almost no weeds and almost no water loss. The fennel attracts all sorts of beneficial insects. The bananas, they provide fruits and a lot of biomass. The mulberries is a long-term overstory that produces a ton of berries. And the pineapple sage is great for herbal infusions and also brings in a ton of pollinators. This whole thing, everything growing around it, this is what we call a food forest guild. And this is the basic building block of the whole food forest. This entire system is built one guild at a time, and that is the whole method. And this works whether you are like us here in the Azores, whether you're in the UK, in the States, in Australia. The specific plants will change, but the method stays the same. And if we remove some of the ground cover, you can already feel it. This soil right inside of this guild is already much looser, full of life, and just outside the guild it's still pretty compacted. And this is the difference of only 1 year of the guild doing its job. Right now we are at the end of spring and things really just get going. But we've already had a harvest of mulberries, different kinds of herbs, sweet potatoes, and as the season progresses we will be harvesting figs, peaches, banana and taro. In autumn we will have persimmons, grapes, passion fruits, and in winter we're gonna get avocados and custard apples. And I mean, there's always something ready to be harvested. Now, most people think that a food forest takes years before you get anything out of it. And honestly, that is only true if you do not plan for it. But look at this. We've got a whole line of potatoes. There are pumpkins growing throughout the food forest. We have yacons, sweet potato, and even broccolis and tomatoes. These are all growing in the open spaces between the guilds, while the perennial system is getting established around them. And here's the thing. When we harvest these crops, their root systems have already been breaking down up the compacted soil. They've added organic matter, and by the time they are gone, the perennial plants around them have grown enough to fill the space. So we get food this season while the permanent system is getting established, both at the same time. So we have fast food now and then the permanent systems establishing right next to it. Whilst we do harvest something from this system every single week, like herbs, staples, edible flowers and fruit, we are not feeding the whole family from this yet. I do want to be honest about that. But this system is only 1 year old and it will only get better from here. And this is something that I think is really important for anyone watching who already has fruit trees on their land. When we arrived here, there were already like a couple of fruit trees here. We had some citrus, a peach, a pear, a couple of custard apples, a mulberry, a loquat, and these were planted roughly 5 years ago in the middle of a field of grass, but without a system around them. And while the positioning was a bit scattered and random, rather than replacing the trees, we just built individual food forest guilds around them. Like for this mandarin tree, we just built a simple guild around it. We did the same for the peach tree, the pears, the custard apples, the loquats. Each one becomes the center tree of its own guild. So if you already have a fruit or nut tree on your land, you can just use that tree as your starting point for your food forest. And I've written about this in more detail in the One Guild Food Forest ebook, which you can download below. But if you already have fruit trees, you can simply build around what is already there. One of the things I get asked a lot is how to decide where to put everything. And I think the honest answer is that spacing decisions can feel more permanent than they actually are. Between the guilds, we left enough space to move through the area comfortably, wide enough to get a wheelbarrow in. And this is not a commercial operation where you would need to think of practicality, machinery, efficiency, all of that. Our goal is to simply turn this area more into like a personal botanical park where most of the plants are simply edible, they give something beautiful like beautiful flowers, or they're actually supporting the system. Now within each guild the plants are quite close and some of them are touching now after a year. And when spacing plants, it's really important to think about sun orientation. We are here in the northern hemisphere, so the sun-loving plants go on the south side of the central tree, and the more shade-tolerant plants go on the north side. And you can see that pattern repeated throughout pretty much every guild in here. But what you see right now is just the beginning of what this system is going to look like in 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now. Some of the support species will be phased out as the productive trees get bigger and their canopies start to fill in. So the guava, the mulberries, the avocados, they're going to take up a lot more space. The acacias and the other support species, the biomass species, will eventually come out once they've done their job inside the system. So the space these support plants are using right now will naturally open up. And that is something worth thinking about before you even put your first plant in the ground. You are designing this system ahead of where it is today. So you plant the support species knowing they are temporary, and you plant the productive trees knowing they will eventually need the space that those support species are holding right now. And even amongst the productive trees themselves, they are not all the same either. So for example, this tamarillo is going to be productive maybe for like 5 to 10 years and then it's done. But a chestnut tree, for example, can live for more than 1,000 years. So you are designing in space, but also in time. Short-lived pioneers establishing the system now, and then long-lived trees slowly taking over the system. And once you start seeing it that way, like the whole thing gets much easier to plan. Just recently we had a couple of friends come and visit this food forest for the first time, and they all assumed that we must be out here working full-time just to keep this going. And I get it. When you first walk in and see all of this, it does look like a lot of work, but the reality is very different. This food forest right now takes me less time to manage than mowing a lawn, and I want to show you exactly why. Right now, there are just a couple of tasks that we do in here. One is that I occasionally mow the pathways between the guilds. So probably once every 2 weeks in spring and maybe once a month after that. We do a bit of weeding, probably about an hour every few weeks, mostly in the spots where we did not prep the ground well enough and the ground covers have not fully closed in yet. And that is pretty much it for the so-called annoying maintenance work. The other thing I occasionally do is chop and drop. I cut back the faster growing support species, the biomass plants, and I drop everything right here at the base of the productive trees. And it will break down in a couple of weeks, it will feed the soil, and we don't have to haul anything out or buy anything in. But this is work I only do a couple of times per year, mostly in fall and winter. And then the hardest work we probably do in here is simply sitting down, listening to the birds and the frogs, and harvesting the fruits of our labor. And this really all comes down to how the layers were designed and where things were placed in the first place. The ground covers are suppressing the weeds, the mulch holds down the moisture, the chop and drop feeds the system. Basically the system does all the work and you just manage it. So after the initial planting, this food forest cost me less time than mowing a lawn, and most of the work simply becomes a bit of seasonal maintenance and honestly mostly harvesting, which is exactly how I like to garden. But I want to show you the part that did not go as well as we planned, because honestly I think you learn more from watching someone get it wrong than from watching everything that goes perfectly. And in a few of the guilds, you can see it a bit more in this guild clearly, the existing grass layer was not removed and suppressed well enough before planting. And in those areas, the grass kept pushing through, which meant a lot more weeding in the months after we put everything in. And what happened is that we were moving fast. We were trying to establish many guilds all at once, and in some spots we just did not prepare the ground enough, and we did not get the ground cover plants in the ground quickly enough to smother what was already there. And a few weeks of rushing meant months of extra work, exactly what we're trying to avoid. And this is, exactly why the approach we always come back to is start with one guild. Give it the attention it needs up front. Prepare the ground properly. Get the ground cover in fast. Get the mulch thick. And then when that guild is going strong and you have more time, you've got more resources, more energy, more plants, then you can start adding the next one. And that's how you can slowly turn your land into a food forest while you keep the work manageable from the start. And that is why I really love this approach so much. You simply pick a tree that you want, you build one guild around it, and then you plant the next one when you are ready. That's the whole method. And it works on 300 square meters, it works on 3 hectares. The scale might change, but the approach does not. Now, let me quickly show you what a 3-month-old food forest guild looks like. This guild right here is only 3 months old, and you can already see all the different layers, the plants, the young system is taking shape, and it has only been in the ground for 12 weeks or so. We've got fruit trees, we've got shrubs, perennial vegetables, flowers, a whole combination of short-lived and long-lived species growing together to form a building block of a food forest. And this is what happens when you put the right plants in the right location. This is your starting point. And if you want to see exactly how I built this exact guild from scratch, make sure to watch this video next, because in that video I walk you through every step, every decision, and the entire process from bare ground to this of what it is right now. So you can start doing this yourself. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and happy forest gardening.